We are out and about with the Z6iii. We finally put hands on it and we're going to test it out.
Put my hand on it as well. I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
Yes. So we use Nikon Z6, Nikon ZF, Nikon Z8 before using Nikon Z6iii. So we're going to tell you if it's worth an upgrade or if it's a good second camera.
Let's just talk about the handling, the size, the weight, how it feels in the hand for a second. So as you know, we shot with Z6s for a number of years. We've also shot a lot with the Z8 that we have joint custody of, and the ZF is now out, both of our cameras. You tend to shoot with the ZF with the grip on all the time, right?
No, I would say when I'm filming, when I need to use longer lenses with it, but when I'm sticking to my 28 or 40 mil, I remove the grip because it's just more portable.
Right, okay. Whereas I will put the grip on if I know I'm going to use a tripod, but the rest of the time I actually take it off now for the simple reason that I find it just a little bit heavier. The ZF with the grip has a very similar feel to this, but this is much deeper. This is a much deeper grip, so you don't have, as Con calls it, the hanging pinky phenomena. Depending on the size of your hands, this might not be enough to completely eliminate the hanging pinky.
You should write a book about it.
The hanging pinky, that's going to be the title of it.
The Curious Case of Hanging Pinky.
The Curious Case of the Hanging Pinky. I find that this fits perfectly in my hand. This is very similar, I feel, to the Z8 feel, and it's definitely borrowed a lot of physical attributes from that camera. So if the Z8 is slightly too big for you, but you did like the handling of it overall and it's a little bit too heavy, then this is a happy medium. If the Z6, etc., felt too small and light and didn't have enough depth to the grip.
Well, I can tell you that Z6iii is probably the cheapest sports camera from Nikon right now, because that new autofocus, that basically Gen 3 autofocus that you can see on cameras like Z8 and Z9 is now here. It comes with a part of semi-stacked sensor, so it kind of sits between the slow readout sensors of Z6iii and ZF and fast readout sensors like Z8 and Z9. While it's not Z8 and Z9 level in terms of autofocus speed, it's pretty much there. I would say maybe if you have to put a number on it, I would say something like 85 to 90%. So overall it's really, really good. It can cope with still running really fast, and she's a fast dog. So overall, 20 frames per second electronic shutter with this focus tracking would suit a lot of wildlife and sports photographers. It's got all the face recognition from animals, vehicles, and birds and people, all those things. So overall, I would say if you have to buy a sports camera now, this is probably the cheapest one from Nikon. There is Nikon ZF, which performs really well in terms of focusing speed. I think I would call it 2.5 autofocus system, but Z6iii is definitely quite a bit faster, I would say. Wow, that sequence is pretty good.
Yeah, it kept tracking her.
Looks like it. We'll obviously blow it up on the big screen, but on the small screen it looks pretty good to me.
Fantastic. And we know how fast she goes.
That's
There
right.
she is. One of the features that has been most touted by Nikon is actually the viewfinder, and the fact that it is apparently the brightest viewfinder available out there. EVFs are a bit hit and miss, I find. They've definitely gotten better over the years. When the Z system first came out, we had some people that didn't like the EVF, and I think that we have made a huge amount of progress since then already. But one of the comments that Rishi made was actually that you can use this viewfinder even with your sunglasses on. So here I am, and I'm going to tell you whether that's true or not. I have taken it off auto, and I've set it to the brightest viewfinder setting, which is actually high 2. Normally, without sunglasses, you might think that would score your retinas, but I will say that I can use it with my sunglasses on with no problem. Let's also talk about the fact that with or without sunglasses on, or with or without glasses, I am a glasses user, so I do find that a large viewfinder is necessary. I'm also a left eye shooter, so my glasses full on whack into the back of that viewfinder. But this viewfinder does feel really nice and bright and big, and very, very clear. So if it's a usability thing that you're looking at, if you do find that some of the other viewfinders have been smaller or you found them uncomfortable to use, give this one a go because it is definitely worth trying it out. I'm super impressed by it.
Beautiful, good model. Let's talk about video. Now, I know none of us, me and Becky, are videographers. We shoot those little videos on YouTube that you may like or not, who knows, 5 people watch them. My mom loved them. But this camera, if you think about it, in terms of video functionality, again, it's the best camera for its price range. So 60 frames per second in 6K, full and RAW, which is Nikon RAW functionality. Now, this is really, really good. You can do 240 frames per second. That's basically 10 times slow motion at 1080p. So that's really good. I just filmed that, so we're going to look at it later on. But you've got 5.4K, you've got 4K, 120, you know, all sorts of things you can do. And RAW, which is again mentioned, it's basically RAW for video. You can shoot ProRes. So for professional photographers, ProRes is quite important because you can film all that, you can pass it to someone else so they can edit it, and you can continue filming. So in my opinion, this is good. Obviously, Z9 and Z8 will give you 8K. However, ask yourself, how often do you need 8K functionality? Even 6K allows you to crop quite a bit. And overall, even if you're shooting 6K, you probably will deliver your project in 4K or sometimes even in 1080p. Yes. Tilly, what do you think about Nikon Z6iii? Does it woof woof?
It's a good woof. Yes. All right, so let's talk about the difference between the Z6iii versus, let's say, the Z6, the ZF, and also the Z8, because we've used all those cameras.
All right, so if you've got a Z6 or Z6 II, this is a very good upgrade. First of all, in terms of autofocus speed. So if you need that new generation autofocus, it brings it to that level. So overall, definitely, it's just there. You got also frame rate improvement, you got video improvement. I personally like that the camera is slightly thicker because your grip is a little bit deeper as well. So in my opinion, usability is better as well. However, Becky, if you've got a Nikon ZF, like you and me, what would you say? Would you need to upgrade or would you wait?
If your focus is video work, then the Z6iii does offer pretty much the best that you can get on the market at this price point right now. However, if the appeal of the ZF is the looks, is the feel, is the mechanical features, honestly, I wouldn't change over because I'm not a pro broadcaster, I'm not a videographer. For things like YouTube, the ZF is more than adequate. The Z6iii is pro-level videography. I would say that's where it's aimed towards. The amount of features that it packs for videographers is just completely beyond what the ZF can do. But if you're a stills photographer, let's take a look at the fact that it's 24 megapixels. This is a partially stacked sensor, as Nikon have said. This gives it the advantages, some advantages, of a stacked sensor without the massive price point of a stacked sensor that we have, for example, in the Z8. So quite a nice feature for stills, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to be worth paying for a Z6iii if you've already got a ZF.
I absolutely agree with that. I think if you've got a Nikon ZF, you probably won't need to upgrade for now. I would personally wait maybe for another generation and see what else Nikon can bring to the table.
Yes. Now, if you have been pondering about a Z8 and you're thinking, oh, do I need a Z8 or do I need a Z6iii? These are very different cameras.
Yes, I would say Z8 and Z9. So if you got Z8 and Z9, those are still the better cameras overall, in my opinion, because on top of 6K functionality, you got 8K functionality, you got better build, you got faster autofocus, just due to it's a fully stacked sensor instead of semi-stacked. All that is there. However, as a second camera, in my opinion, that would be a good option, especially for people who have Z9. If you don't want to have a built-in grip, then you can get Z6iii. In fact, we have quite a few Z9 users pre-ordering Nikon Z6iii exactly for this reason. Now, if you got a Z8, I personally think Z8 is still the best Nikon camera, however, at the price point. So, looking at the cheaper price of Z6iii, if that's your budget, you can't go wrong with it. However, if you need the bump in resolution to 45 megapixel sensor, and let's be honest, for me, it is very useful actually to have. For some people, not so much, but if you need that, get a Z8. Overall, Z6iii will do everything else almost as good as Z8, but just at 24 megapixels.
Pros and cons.
Cons and prawns. I like prawns.
Cons.
I like cons.
Cons and prawns.
I like Nikon Z6iii.
Yeah. If we talk about pros, we've got its speed, its video functionality, its partially stacked sensor, its fantastic viewfinder, and overall it's much better build, I would say.
It brings all the Nikon tech to a lower price point. It's aimed at professional photographers who need that video functionality, who don't need high resolution sensors. If you're a wedding photographer, you're probably going to shoot 3,000–4,000 shots per wedding. You don't need 45 megapixels. But it's also price-wise reasonable enough to get into the hands of enthusiasts and hobbyists as well.
That's right.
Who can get access to the technology.
Exactly. So if you are doing events, weddings, concerts, if you're doing sports and wildlife, you can definitely use this. Even if you're doing landscape, macro work, portraiture, it will pretty much do everything. Plus you can tag on the video functionality, which, to be honest, if we were purebred videographers, this would just be a review about the video functionality. Luckily, there are other people on the internet who have done extensive video reviews about this camera, so we're not even gonna try and compete with them. Now, if we talk about the cons, I would say we did sniff a little bit at the resolution when we first saw the announcement, but I understand the Z8 is where it's at for your high resolution, Z9 if you need it. And if you want higher resolution at a lower price point, then you're really looking at the Z7 too.
I agree, but low resolution comes with the benefit of a better and cleaner low light performance at higher ISOs. So again, if you're a low light shooter, that actually will benefit you shooting 24.5 megapixels.
Exactly. There are a few extra bits and pieces which you get in the Z8 and Z9, which you don't get in this camera. So obviously it's not designed to replace out those cameras or even really be a fully professional body. However, I think most professionals who don't need 45 megapixels would be super happy with this.
That's a thumbs up from us.
It's a thumbs up from us.
Yeah.
What can I say? We like it. We hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching.
Give us a like, subscribe if you can. There's Soup Things button there as well. And we're gonna see you eventually somewhere else, usually in the field in England, next time.
That's right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.